They were
Still together sometime?
Nah, we don't get down like that. You know, it's just me and Dub.
Problem with Mac?
Yeah, it's a problem. Just a violation that can't be overlooked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friendships in hip-hop? They don't always last. Just ask Mac 10 and Ice Cube. Back in the day, they were untouchable. Westside Connection royalty. Stages packed. Records smashing. LA totally repped. But that brotherhood? It didn't stay solid. Tension crept in, and eventually it blew up into a fallout that's lasted decades. Before meeting Cube, Mac 10 was already grinding in LA's underground, carving his name out with raw energy and serious ambition. NWA was his blueprint, real-life stories, street truth, survival. That life shaped him, fueled his hunger for authenticity. He honed his craft with First Amendment, learning the studio grind, perfecting his flow, and commanding the stage. That crew was his proving ground. Word of Mac's talent spread fast. One of his earliest believers, Eazy-E. The NWA legend saw potential and even had Mac ghostwrite records, an invaluable cosign that opened doors. Soon, he was rolling with heavyweight DJs like Bobcat and DJ Pooh, and eventually straight into Ice Cube's Lynch Mob circle. That's when things really took off. Studio sessions with Cube? Instant chemistry. Touring with Lynch Mob? Wild nights, packed venues, screaming fans, each show leveling him up. Then came the big break, 1995's Friday soundtrack. Suddenly, everyone in hip-hop knew Mac 10. With Cube's backing, he scored a priority records deal and officially launched his solo career. From here, he wasn't just Cube's associate, he was a major player. But their worlds were different. Mac 10 wasn't playing at the streets. He grew up in Inglewood's Queen Street, in the middle of gang life and LA chaos. Shootings, deals, rival crews. It was survival 24/7. Mac didn't imitate the streets. He lived them.
But I was with it, so I didn't give
As Mac's name rose, so did his rap. He was a force, someone you didn't test, on the streets or in the studio. That loyalty made him Cube's right-hand man, ready for any drama. Beef with rappers, label tension, Mac had Cube's back, no questions asked. Just having him around made situations smoother. He wasn't bluffing, he was about that life. But here's the catch. Cube's background was completely different. According to his biography, Cube grew up in a solid middle-class neighborhood, went to better schools, and didn't dodge bullets every day. He built his street image through lyrics, not life experience. And as fame grew, questions popped. How real was Cube, really?
He's not really a thug. He's an entertainer. And that's the real. And you gotta get that bullshit out your head. Because what he's talking about, he ain't living. And what I live...
OGs from LA spoke out. Some said Cube was more a storyteller than a soldier, someone who observed the streets instead of living them. While others risked life and freedom, Cube was turning those stories into hits and Hollywood checks. To some, it felt like a slap in the face, a fantasy version of the streets sold as art. Still, Ice Cube's legendary. From gangster rap pioneer to Hollywood star, his impact is undeniable. NWA? He was the lyrical weapon, dropping sharp, fearless verses full of social commentary. But unlike Mac, Cube's tales came from observation, not survival. Alonzo Williams of the Wrecking Crew even called him a smart, ambitious kid, polite and focused, but not deep in gang life. That difference? It's stark when stacked against Mac 10, who truly lived it.
Hey man, you know, we got a couple of tracks from the album. You want to hear it?
We played him a song called Throw Your Set in the Air. And he was like, oh, that's banging. Can I get that for the movie instead?
They're like, man, we'd love to give it to you, but you know, this is going to be the single on our...
When they connected, Westside Connection was born. Alongside WC, they became a West Coast powerhouse. Tours, hits, and unity during one of hip-hop's most divided eras. Fans saw three kings, unbreakable, but cracks were forming. What ended it wasn't money or labels, it was personal, family. According to Mac 10, the tension started with Cube's brother-in-law.
In interviews with All Hip Hop and DJ Vlad, Mac said the man disrespected him. Instead of retaliation, he tried diplomacy, approaching Cube multiple times to intervene.
I said, no, we didn't give him that. He goes, well, you know, finally I hear it. Sure enough, there it is, you know, the same. It's like some of the words are changed around, but for the most part.
Mac wanted respect, but silence from Cube let the issue simmer. "I wasn't trying to start anything," he told Vlad TV. "If you go to somebody 5 times before it escalates, that shows you're trying to be diplomatic." For a fearless, street-tested dude, Mac showed patience rare in those situations. He gave multiple chances, but it eventually boiled over. The brother-in-law got handled, and that was it, the final straw.
The Temple of Boom record, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, that's my line. In my opinion, I felt like he saw my reaction, and I walked out of the room for a second to make a phone call.
From that moment, the bond between Mac and Cube shattered. What looked unbreakable became years of silence. Mac has said he never thought it should have gone this far. To him, nothing unforgivable happened, just a misunderstanding blown out because Cube's wife was involved. He admitted regret in interviews, uncertain if reconciliation would ever happen, but he's never bitter. He sees it as a situation that went left. Some insiders think Mac was also frustrated Cube refused a second tour to promote Terrorist Threats, their final album. Neither confirmed it, but it might have added fuel to an already rocky fallout.
Seeing nobody from Cypress Hill, and it was blood. But I was with this nigga. So.
While Mac 10 has laid his side of the story out in interviews, Ice Cube, he's tight-lipped. Every time someone asks, he stays vague, just hints that a violation went down. And in street talk, that's heavy. A violation isn't small. It's crossing a line deep enough to change how you see someone forever. Cube did touch on it briefly on It Is What It Is with Cameron. When asked why he still rolls with WC but not Mac 10, his answer? Simple, blunt. Nah, we don't get down like that. Just me and Dub. No drama, no extra details, but the tone said it all. Mac 10, on the other hand, has been equally clear about where he stands. In a 2023 chat with Bootleg Pev, he said there's no hate, no grudge, but he's not chasing a reunion either. He's at peace. From his perspective, he handled it with respect and maturity. Cube? Seems a boundary was crossed that couldn't be fixed. That difference in perception, that's kept them apart for decades. For Westside Connection fans, that silence stings. These were brothers in arms, always ready to back each other. One big example, Cube's feud with Cypress Hill. Mac 10 was right there, loyal as ever. It all started with the Friday soundtrack, curated by Cube himself. It should have been a West Coast celebration, but drama was brewing. One track, Roll It Up, Light It Up, Smoke It Up, was cleared with Cypress Hill. No issues. But the real tension, that came when Cube got a sneak peek of unreleased material for Temples of Boom. He loved Throw Your Set in the Air and asked to use it. Cypress Hill said no. Cube asked again, still no. Fast forward to the soundtrack drop, Be Real hears a track that sounds way too close to Throw Your Set in the Air. Hook, flow, energy, all eerily similar. Almost like a remix with tiny lyric tweaks.
To squash this, I said, you know, just like you, all he's got to do is call me.
And I explained to him where I was coming from. I don't got nothing to do with it, but that's my homeboy, and I'm riding with him. He said, you know what, homie? I can respect that.
Even though Mac earned respect standing by Cube, that loyalty came with limits. Behind the scenes, he realized defending people didn't always mean they'd defend him back. The streets were watching. Industry whispers grew. But Mac 10, he didn't vanish. He doubled down, launching Who Bangin' Records, signing local West Coast talent, dropping solo albums, and proving he could thrive on his own grind. Meanwhile, Ice Cube was pivoting to Hollywood, blockbusters, media ventures, and major influence. He was evolving, leaving rap beefs behind. Fans, though, couldn't forget Westside Connection. Every new track, interview, or appearance had people wondering, would they reunite? The silence said no. Mac stayed respectful, never dissing Cube publicly, but there was always a hint of unfinished business. Cube stayed quiet, brushing off questions like that chapter was closed. Two West Coast legends who built an empire only to watch it fracture over pride, silence, and decisions that couldn't be undone. Then there was the Cypress Hill drama. Be Real caught wind that Cube had used something sounding like their track. The session confirmed it, lyrics too close for comfort. Cypress Hill fired back hard with no rest for the wicked. Ice Cube, he brought Mac 10 into the mix. Together, they dropped King of the Hill, a precise, cold diss. Even though some Cypress Hill members were Bloods like Mac 10, loyalty to Cube came first. That feud divided LA. Rumors flew, tension mounted, but Mac 10 held his ground, riding for Cube no matter what. Meanwhile, Ice Cube got tangled in another conflict with LA artists Cam and Solo. A traffic light scuffle turned physical. Solo walked away with Cube's chain. That bold move became LA rap legend, captured in photos and forever in street chatter. Eventually, Mac 10 stepped in as peacemaker. Be Real reached out and Mac explained his loyalty. It wasn't personal, it was principle. Respect was mutual. That call cooled one of the hottest West Coast rivalries. He even convinced Cube to talk to Be Real directly. Man to man, they cleared the air. Peace returned. Looking back, it's wild. What almost spiraled into chaos ended with respect and communication. Mac 10 went from frontline soldier to scene mediator. Loyalty, maturity, and strategy all played out, proving even in a world fueled by pride and beef, real men can talk it out. Westside Connection might be done, but their impact? Unforgettable. Tracks like Bow Down still hit like declarations of West Coast dominance. Younger rappers study their moves, inspired by their power and authenticity.
Maybe one day, Cube and Mac 10 will reunite. Maybe not. Either way, Westside Connection's legacy, loyalty, power, the cost of both, remains etched in hip-hop history. Fans keep dreaming of that stage, Cube, Mac 10, and WC back together. Until then, the silence tells its own story. Mac 10 kept grinding, cementing his street's legacy. Cube? He became a global brand. Two paths, one unforgettable era. If you love this deep dive into hip-hop drama, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Which Westside Connection track is your favorite? And do you think Cube and Mac 10 will ever reconcile?